the right hand from Hаттон, who's finding Tacky a very, very easy target, but we kind of knew that going in.
Tacky still just thumping away at that body of Hatton's, trying to get a breakthrough himself.
He's showing his world class here, Rikki Hаттon. But nothing really can be taken for granted as yet. He's a long way ahead in the fight. He's winning all the rounds. He's outworking his man, and somehow, though, there's just that feeling that Tacky has the capability, possibly, of changing it around in an instant.
Well, the fans enjoying it, stamping their feet at the good action in there.
Again, beautiful boxing from Hаттon behind the jab. And then he steps off to the side, tries to get ready for the next assault, so that Tacky can never quite set himself. He's clever, he's well thought out.
Yeah, well, we thought if he got the game plan right, his style would be suitable for him, and it's looking that way.
Get on the outside and swing up and get.
Welcome back to Manchester. This is the jabs landed so far in the fight. Hаттton 66-40.
Yeah, good solid jabs. Landing time and time again with that punch.
They were saying in the corner to Hаттton between the rounds, don't take any chances. I think they feel he's doing it right, but here comes Tacky with another attempt to maraud forward, which is what he does. He lunges forward, but he's so strong that you wonder, these inside punches, these mauls on the inside, whether they're just wearing away at Hatton's strength in some way.
That's good. Hatton much better at long range. That's where he can make it easy for himself.
And all the time, Glenn, just switching the angles when he's on the outside.
Yeah. Doing that so well. It's in there like he is now. That's going to take something out of Hatton, make him tire a little bit. That wrestling in close.
Looking a very rounded throw in there now, Hаттon. Tacky's breathing more heavily, looks a bit slower, and he doesn't start too fast in the first place.
Good call with the right hand there, Rikki Hаттon. It's a decent shot, and he's looking to hold on inside.
Rights to the head, all manner of punches. Great repertoire from Hаттon. Hooks to the body, straight shots, jabs, upstairs, downstairs, and even the ladies' chamber, I should think, too.
Just so much busier, isn't he? Just the punches keep going out.
How much of this can Tacky continue to take?
Well, he's took it off Costa Zoo, he's took it off Sean Mitchell. So he can probably take it to the 12, but Hatton just hasn't got to look at that. He's just got to keep doing what he's doing, picking up the rounds, being busier.
Make no mistake about it, a points win over Tacky's a good win. And Tacky's just looking a little bit puffed up around the face now and around the eyes. These punches had to have had some effect. But will Hаттon himself last home okay? He did with Vince Phillips. He did with Eamon McGee, but this, I think, is a much more torrid battle than the McGee fight was. Oh, cracking right hand from Hаттon there, explodes off the side of Tacky's jaw, and still he doesn't look like going down from it.
Well, incredible that he can take so much, but it's got to have an effect, hasn't it?
That bandage has come loose again on Hatton's glove. There's going to have to be another break. This is irritating, isn't it? And it's not really in Hatton's favour either. Well, they're all here tonight, the cast of Coronation Street among the crowd, enjoying this fight, as they surely must be. Usually Will Greenwood is here as well. I know the England World Cup
there, isn't he? I recognise that one. Enjoying it.
These nights have become big happenings, and those people who keep writing that boxing is dead ought to be here, to be honest with you.
I don't think anybody from Manchester says that.
Right hand got in there from Taki on the inside, and Hatton wanted to hold on for a moment. Just let his head possibly clear, if indeed he was shaken by that. Can he keep up the pace and the precision of his performance, Hatton, here? Oh, another right hand which Taki seemed to walk onto, but it's like hitting nettle, it seems. Nothing has an effect, or doesn't seem to, not much anyway.
He's so solid, isn't he? Absolutely like a tree trunk.
Now these are not pitter-pat punches either. Maybe that Hatton will have to do it the long route at top level against these kind of guys.
He lost his balance a little bit there. Taki, another great shot from Hatton.
Left uppercut this time. Another one from the locker. It's a pretty wide and extensive arsenal that he carries into the ring with him. Heads bang together on the inside. Hatton always has to be careful about that. Caused long breaks in his career a couple of times. Right hand from Taki by way of a response, having taken the left hook. He still believes, I think, Ben Taki, he still thinks that maybe the late rounds might be his territory if Hatton starts to tire. How dispirited would Hatton be getting about hitting him with all his best shots and Taki still being there in front of him and still looking quite full of it?
Ian, it's more dispiriting taking them than giving them, let me tell you.
Good right hand. He dabs away, and he does suddenly look tired, Taki, as he came out of that, and looked laboured. Slightly pained look on the face, just gulping for air a little, puffed up. Looks like he's finding this hard, but this looks like a man who can dig so deep.
Rikki Hаттton does really look like a man with destiny, doesn't he, in his sights. He knows what he wants and where he wants to be, and it's top of that light welterweight ladder. And on this performance, he's going to get there.
Yep, he looks one of the best light welterweights in the world, and he deserves the chance to prove, I think, that he is the best in the world in 2004. But this job still hasn't been complete yet, even though it would be hard to give Taki a round. Well, there are the world rankings. A lot of big fights coming up, with Costa Siu fighting Shambe Mitchell, the top two, on February the 7th in Moscow. Zab Judah fights tonight. You can see that later on in Sky Sports. Arturo Gatti's going to go for the WBC title against Gianluca Branco, the number 10 there soon. And Vivian Harris is fighting pretty soon against Oktay Urkal, the guy at number 8. So it's all happening in what is a great division. There are so many big fights out there, and they all could be happening for Rikki Hаттton, but there's a big proviso. He's got to win this.
Well, he's doing everything right. Won every round so far on my scorecard. Really has been a great performance from Hаттton.
To throw a towel back from Taki's corner, the referee there, quickly and rather niftily with a backhand. Mickey Van, the referee. 10th round of 12 this. Lovely left hook from Hatton, and the right hand too. What do you have to do to put Ben Taki down? Shambe Mitchell did do it when those two met in the 11th round of the fight. It's the only time in his life that Taki has been to the canvas.
Well, he looked over us just there, you know, his shoulder of Taki, and it just looked at his face for the first time of that very thing. What do I have to do?
Essential for Hatton now to keep his concentration, but he's so level-headed, no airs or graces about him out of the ring. He's such a student of the business that I think he'll know all about Taki's record of coming up with something late when he's behind on the cards.
Well, he can't afford just to be caught napping or thinking too much, and he's got to keep busy, keep that focus.
And the good news for Hatton, no cuts tonight. Taki is a bit marked up, though. He hasn't got a cut as such, he's just swollen up. And there's another rib cruncher from Hatton, a left hand. And still, Taki comes firing back.
He's got to take his own right hand there as well. Hatton can't still stand toe-to-toe with this guy in trade.
Well, it would be an absolute catastrophe, really, for Hatton if after putting on a show like this, he somehow was to let it all drain away late on in one nasty moment.
Well, he's looked so much more polished, I think.
Yeah.
Hatton, I think he's risen to the occasion, and I've always thought he'd do that. And I really do think he should be in with anybody in that list that we showed at the top light welterweight, because it brings the best out in him.
And hopefully the people watching this, it goes out in the United States as well, there will be an increased clamour in America, where he's got a growing fan club, incidentally, for those fights to happen. Maybe the Charvet Mitchell one's a possibility. His promoter is here tonight watching it and more or less said as much this week that if Hatton wins, they would like to do that fight. Again, Mickey Van is on Taki's case. What was he, a bit free with the head there, do you think, Glenn?
At the arm, I think he's grabbing the arm.
Taki quickly takes refuge, maybe significantly, as the bell sounded to end that round. That time he didn't want any more of it. But this has been a different pattern tonight, and it's been an improvement, because he's not only the body punch blaster, this is a guy who can outbox you too.
He said a key thing, I thought, in the week, when he said, you know, for the first time he feels that sense of fear. And I think, you know, that's what it is. It's that sense of fear. When you're scared or worried like that, it brings the very best out. The adrenaline makes you the best you can be. Taki's thrown more, but landed over 100 less. 46% success rate, very, very high in a fight of this caliber.
That is huge, isn't it, really? Considering the amount he's throwing as well. The crowd are already in celebratory move, and Taki landed a right hand there, and it sent the sweat spraying off the side of Hatton's face at the start of the round, and there is a little warning for everybody to take nothing for granted. Taki does need a knockout now. He can't win on the cards, and he's going for it. He's going for it, Taki here.
He's been hit with 3 good shots, Hatton, and
danger in round 11. And there's always that sense in this fight which has kept the suspense going, hasn't it?
Well, he doesn't want to take too many of them. He's come out with a reason and a mission, and that's to get that right hand over. And that is where Rikki Hаттton is a bit vulnerable, with the left hand carried low.
Taki's occasionally starting rounds fast, but hasn't been able to sustain it. Then normal service is resumed, with Hatton looking for pressure. But we're at that stage of the fight now where all the miles pounding the roads, the thousands of sit-ups in the gym, the rounds of sparring, this is where you get the payoff late on from that kind of conditioning. And these two have chiseled their bodies into fantastic shape for this battle.
Well, the real fighters, real professionals, that's their living. They work hard to be the best.
Well, Hatton wanted to stop Benteke, but nobody else has, and he'd certainly settled for the points win.
Some good shots on the inside there, just the legs getting a little bit wobbly of Hatton as he's hit moving forward.
This might be Taki's best round so far.
Yeah, he's winning this one.
You can see the post in the distance. Knows there's not a lot more of it, and maybe he's going to give it everything from here on, but there's Hatton reimposing himself. It's a strange one to watch. It's kind of nerve-wracking, isn't it? Even though Hatton's in a big lead, there's just that feeling that it isn't over till it's over, if you know what I mean.
Well, you know the quality of the opponent, don't you? You know what Taki is. This was always going to be a hard fight. He's done it so well, but you know he's in with somebody of quality.
The right hand seemed to get to Taki a bit. Knees just dipped a little. He breathes more heavily and is happy to take the break as they clinch.
Going to do a better work now.
Spontaneous applause, Glenn, around the arena for the quality of Hatton's boxing, I think, tonight. They're appreciating what they're seeing, and I think they understand, too, what he's about here. Hatton came back where you saw his mum and dad there, Ray and Carol, at ringside. What it must be like for them watching this.
Well, they're always there. It must be hard. I'm sure they know how good this son is. But I give Taki this his best round. I give him a share of the honours in that one. He did hurt Hatton with that right hand, right on the bell, just as the round started, straight out, the big right hand.
There was an argument for saying you could have given Taki that round, possibly. He did the best work for the first half of the round.
He did. Hatton come back well at the end, landing with some good punches.
There we are, look, that's how often they can schedule to go 12. They completed it. Taki 4 times, Hatton 3. This is the last 3 minutes of the fight. Benteke needs a knockout, the Ghanaian. Hatton's in a huge lead. And comes out fast himself with another reminder. He's nearly completed a successful mission in this, his most testing assignment. It looked that way, and I think it's been that way too. He had to take a right hand from Taki, who might really go for it late on here. He has to, doesn't he?
Well, of course he does. He knows that he's miles behind. He knows he hasn't getting a real grip in this fight, and Hatton's control it. He's got to go for something big, Taki, but has he got the strength?
Right hand from Hatton. Remember Frank Bruno falling apart in the last round against Bone Crusher Smith when in a big lead. It can happen. I'm sure Rikki Hаттton has got all the red lights flashing.
Well, that's what makes boxing the sport it is, that anything can happen at any given moment.
Tonight he said he went in feeling a healthy kind of fear, a kind of controlled adrenaline. Surely would have stopped most fighters with the quality of his work tonight.
It gets hard to stop this level of fighter, Ian. You're really at the top of the tree.
Right hand. Hatton beautifully picked again. The bandage has come loose. Are we going to have another break even in the last round? I think we are. This is about the fourth time. I've lost count that this has happened in the fight. You know, it ought to be the last time because we're nearly there now.
Frank Warren goes over to Hatton and just tells him to box him. Take no chances.
And he's got a lot invested, of course, in Hatton. Taki still goes for the body.
But this is what I like about Hatton. This is what makes him as exciting as he is. The fact that it's in the last round, he's a mile ahead, and he's still going, attacking, looking to try and get the stoppage.
That's what he does, isn't it? That's why he sells tickets. Another left hook sets Taki back. Steer side from her. The sporting brain from the former Manchester City fullback. And he's not worried about the judges' cards. I don't think anybody else is. He's won, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's won, and he's won big.
Gordon Ramsay, the chef, flips him into the ring. A great win for Rikki Hаттton. Really come of age, showed he's top quality.
Hаттton boxes and blasts his way into boxing's big league tonight. He's ready to take on anybody now, and I think of that there can be no doubt whatsoever. And ecstatic Frank Warren too, as well he might be. Look how many punches he threw, 728. Tacky threw more, but landed a whole lot less. 44% success rate is absolutely phenomenal.
Very, very good. At this level, that's excellent, isn't it? Really, really high.
But then this alarm in the last round.
Yep, right hand down the side of the head. He took it all right.
And then when the bell sounded, that was just before. That was her reaction to that right hand. Don't do that to me. I think she has to have about 3 gin and tonics before she can watch.
We'll have a few more tonight, I think, as they celebrate. 120, 109, that's how I had it. Every round of 10, just a shade in the 11th when Tacky had his best work.
It's big, it's a landslide win. And there will be those, I'm sure, who will turn around afterwards. They're always the wise guys. They'll turn around afterwards and say, oh, Tacky was damaged goods. The fights with Mitchell and Zhu had taken something out of him. But I think really that there's an element of truth in that. But this man arrived full of dangerous, believed he could win, and Hаттton really did a job on him.
Yeah, he's trained for months. He was ready.
It was a very, very fine display. But we await the scorecards.
Gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, the judges are in agreement. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals.
Jim, what is the best result? Is it the best performance of Hatton's career?
Yeah, both Zhu and Mitchell found an easy way to beat Ben Tacky. We'll hear
Come
what
back
he's
to
got
Jim
to
in
say.
a moment, sorry. What did you, Jim?
Well, as I was saying, both Zhu and Mitchell looked for an easy way to beat Ben Tacky without getting involved with him. Nothing approaching the excitement level, the entertainment level, the drama that Rikki produced there. I think he's now the finished article. He's ready. You have to give him at least a 50-50 chance with any light welterweight in the world. That was superb. We saw sides of him we haven't seen before. A few times he got himself into little bits of trouble, so he had to survive. He had to use old pro tricks to keep himself in there. He was never badly hurt, but a couple of little mistakes he made. I think he's, as I say earlier, the complete article now, ready for anybody, and at least, as I say, a 50-50 chance.
What we asked for before this fight started was we wanted to see something new from Rikki Hаттton. Tonight he answered it absolutely brilliantly. We saw a new Rikki Hаттton. We saw a boxer who could sustain his performance throughout the fight. He boxed with intelligence. He was clever. His combinations were great. His jab was great. He even showed us an up jab. Jab with the left, the Tommy Hearns up jab, hooking off the jab, throwing a left uppercut off the jab. Really sort of Temeritus bold stuff. Very, very impressive. I was really, and you know, we were talking about this. Have we ever seen Rikki Hаттton hold before? He would land 3 jabs and then throw a right hand left hook and then step up and stop Tacky's work. I thought he was fantastic tonight. Very, very mature, and I really think that he's just like Jim. I agree with him. I think he's ready for the very top.
Maturity is the key too, because he took some whacking right hands, didn't shift them in the slightest, didn't budge him.
Did you see him grimace there, Jim? Is that a worrying sign as they try to take the gloves off?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he's had hands damage. How can you spend 12 rounds punching Ben Tacky in the head without damaging your knuckles? I'm sure he'll have knuckle damage. Hopefully nothing broken, nothing serious. But there's no way, after about 12 rounds and the amount of punches that he landed, must have knuckle damage, must have. Maybe we can just see here as it comes.
Yeah, well, I've seen him cutting off. It seems to be the right hand that is they're concerned about. He grimaced a little when they pulled the glove off. So there's every reason to believe that he has hurt the right hand. I have to tell you, the right hand could have been used more often. Maybe this is the reason why he didn't use it so much. He's grimacing a little there. But, you know, it's an occupational hazard coming through fights like this with guys that have tough heads with bruised hands.
Well, I can't find a single complaint. I thought that was superb in every department of the game. He outmanned the toughest man in the division.
We've got a little glimpse of the right hand.
Yeah, got a little glimpse of the right hand. Looks a bit swollen. He's holding it by the side there. It looks like he's a little tender, but that's to be expected.
Looks like he's on his way out now to have a word with Ian Darke, who's waiting for him.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Paul. Well, back in the studio there, they've just watched that, Ricky. Jim Watt said you're the complete article, and Barry McGuigan said brilliant. Well, your reaction, what are your thoughts?
Thank you very much. You know, I always knew that, you know, this was going to be my biggest test, but I think the toughest test proved to be my best performance. I know people are saying, you know, I'm a come forward, body puncher, marauding type of fighter, but you know, I can box when I need to, when I'm in there with an opponent that I need to box against. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it's necessary to apply pressure, and sometimes it's right to be a slickster. And I've been saying for a bit I can do it all, and I hope I proved a little bit more tonight.
I think you showed something different tonight, that you can be the boxer as well as the brawler.
Yeah, well, I always knew I had that in my armoury, and people have been asking for me to do that more, but you know, I do it when it's needed against the right opponent, and it was well needed tonight. Ben Taki, he's got to have the toughest head I've ever hit in my life. And
you've damaged your right hand. I mean, he was so tough. I don't know how he took the punches. Now, what is that? What does that feel like? That's not a break, I hope.
No, you can see they're both up like balloons there, but I don't think I broke any of them. They're just red raw, you know, from constant pounding. You know, very difficult to get the body shots off, and he was loading up with that right hand and loading up with that left hook, and near the end of the round, it was thought, keep it together, keep your boxing together. It was safer when he was winging them big, long arching haymakers to stay close rather than long range. You know, kept my head out of the way, nullified his work, and got through it like I did what I needed to do, and I needed what I needed to do to win, like Barry said during the week, I think.
Yeah. Temper's got a bit flared at times in there as well, didn't there? There was a bit of feeling, wasn't there?
Well, yeah, I mean, he cracked me, can't remember what round it was, he cracked me after the bell, and then he did it a second time, the cheeky get, so I gave him one back. But, you know, that's what boxing's all about. It's not a tickling competition, is it?
He looks ready for anybody in the world now, Frank Warren. What are the plans?
Well, the plans are obviously he's going to have a rest now. He's going away on a cruise, and then next April he'll fight again. But I thought tonight was, you know, you see a different side of Ricky Hatton, and he showed a lot of skills in there, and he took apart a quality world champion, a quality fighter, to be frank, and also, you know, he does give Manchester a champion to be proud of, and he is. Everybody's proud of him. Great tonight.
Manchester were fantastic.
Shambe Mitchell fights against Costas on February the 7th, and we've heard rumours this week that possibly the winner might be ready. You think there would be a clamour for a Hatton fight with the winner of that?
That's a possibility, and obviously it's something we'll think about. But I think the main thing is, you know, we're in a position now where we'll sit down and we'll make the moves that suit Ricky Hatton and not everybody else. And you know, but that is something that really does appeal. It's a tough fight for Shambe Mitchell going to Russia to fight Costas. If he comes through, Gary Shaw's got him, and there's a chance we can.
Gentlemen, this is the one we have been waiting for. Would you please welcome the challenger this evening from Santa Rosa, Argentina, Wilfredo Carlos Vilches.
And Vilches will enter the arena to another bear pit Hatton-like atmosphere here in Manchester. But does he look fazed by it? Not a bit of it. Vilches, when you see him up close, he looks like a character from a spaghetti western. He's one of these tough guys from Argentina. He arrives from the Pampas. He's got a useful record. He's only lost 4 times in 48 fights, but he is some way short of the very top world class, as was demonstrated when the highly touted American Shambe Mitchell stopped him in 4 rounds. Can Hatton do it quicker than that, I wonder, Jim?
Well, I don't think that should be in his mind, Ian. I think that the main thing is the result here. Be nice and careful. He's rough, he's tough, he's very strong, he's not tremendously powerful, but he can inflict some damage. He's a little bit dangerous at times with his head, we're told. So Ricky just wants to concentrate. Don't compete with Shambe Mitchell until Shambe Mitchell's on the other corner. Just get this job done properly without taking too many silly chances and keep the fans happy.
As you can see, Vilches is the shy, retiring type.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, entering the arena, the champion, Ricky the Hitman Hatton.
A huge reception. He sells the place out every time. great atmosphere again, Jim. Every time Hatton produces this, doesn't he?
Well, a Ricki Hаттton fight is a defence, that's what it is. It doesn't matter who's in the other corner. But I got the impression after Ricki boxed in April that maybe he was looking forward to a little break through the summer, but he's decided to get back into the gymnasium, get himself back in shape again. I just hope his mind is fully on the job and he is motivated.
Just took a little deep breath there, the adrenaline flowing ahead of the fight. As usual, there's a lot of big talk about who he might be fighting somewhere in the future. Frankly, he's angry and frustrated that he's not fighting the big names right now, and there has been a bit of a public spat between him and his promoter Frank Warren in the build-up to this fight over that very issue, plus the rushed preparation as well. 10 weeks of training crammed into 5 weeks. Are there danger signals?
Well, there could be danger signals, but I think the problem with Ricki, an unbeaten fighter, the most exciting fighter in the country, but he's not getting the credit he wants. He's putting everything he's got into the fight game, but the people sniping at him because of the quality of opposition. But he just has to bear with this, get all of that out of his mind, and get this job done properly tonight, and hopefully in the near future, the big fights will come along.
This is the tale of the tape tonight. Ricki Hаттton is still only 25. Vilches is 2 years older. He's a little bit taller and will have a reach advantage, Vilches. Both of them making the 10-stone limit at the first time of asking at yesterday's weigh-in. Hаттton a professional now for 7 years. He's unbeaten in 35 fights, one of the best records in world boxing now. Vilches a pro since '96 and coming up to his 50th fight in a couple of fights' time. Only lost 4 of those. Hаттton over puncher here. Here's MC Michael Pass to do the introductions for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the magnificent MEN Arena here in the city of Manchester, England. Tonight, Frank Warren's Sports Network, www.frankwarren.tv, Nemanov and UTEC, proudly presents this Frank Warren's 200th World Title Contest. 12 3-minute rounds of boxing for the WBU's light welterweight championship of the world. Welcome to you, the viewers watching live and exclusively on Sky Sports. The officials have been appointed by the World Boxing Union and the British Boxing Board of Control. Commissioner for the WBU is Mr. Bob Rogers. Timekeeper at the bell, Mr. Barry Pender from Sheffield. The 3 scoring judges at ringside this evening are all from England: Carl Rogers, Rich Thompson, and Tony Walker. Finally, when the action commences, the referee in charge of the action this evening taking part in his 47th world title contest. A warm welcome, please, to Darrell Ribbing from South Africa. And so, people of Manchester, England, live from the MEN Arena, this is World Championship Boxing! Introducing to you firstly, fighting out of the red corner wearing the black club shorts trimmed with yellow and purple. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 9 stones, 13 and a half pounds. His record this evening consists of 48 contests, 41 wins, 24 of those wins coming by way of knockout, only 4 defeats, 2 draws and 1 no contest. Coming to the ring this evening as the current light welterweight champion of South America, he is the challenger from Santa Rosa, Argentina, Wilfredo Carlos Vilches. And opposing him, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the sky blue shorts trimmed with silver, white and black. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 9 stones, 13 and 3/4 pounds. He has a perfect undefeated record, standing at 35 contests, 35 wins, 26 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making the crowd, the 13th defense of his title. He is the WBU's light welterweight champion of the world from Manchester, England, Rikki the Hitman Hаттон. Referee Mr. Darryl Ripping with his final instructions. 12 rounds.
Feverish atmosphere as always on Hatton nights.
We're going to have a good team fight. You're going to listen to me, okay? Shake hands. Good luck to both of you. May the best man win. Go to your corners.
Well, in the list of unbeaten boxers in the world, Paul Spadafora, unbeaten in 38, touted as Hatton's next opponent. Joe Calzaghe, Britain, 37, same as Juan Carlos Gomez, the heavyweight. Hatton and Marcelino Freitas come next, unbeaten in 35. 26 stoppages as well for Hatton. Ranked in the top 10 at about number 7 in the world, and really a case here of Rikki, don't lose that number, I guess, because he doesn't want to be going backwards.
Now, well, he faces a rough house tonight. A fellow who's had 48 fights in just under 8 years, so a fellow likes to keep himself busy. He's boxed twice already this year, has had plenty of notice for this fight, so you have to take this job seriously.
Round 1, 13th defence of this WBU crown for Manchester's hitman Rikki Hаттton, coming off this rush preparation. And in the Manchester City blue trunks with the black trimmings, the black of Vilches, who looks super confident during all the preliminaries. Not that difficult to hit, Vilches, but fancies himself and predicts that he's going to win this in the 7th round.
Well, it looks as though Rikki wants to make an early impression. That's what he's doing. You want this fella backing up. He throws wide slashing punches, so you don't want him coming forward.
Fast start from Hatton. He's nearly always all business in the ring. 2 left hooks, and that was after the referee had said break. Darryl Ripping, the South African referee, not happy with that. How will Vilches react when he starts to feel the power? Good little left hand there from the Argentine, who's 27.
Have to be worrying up at the heads already. You can see how so many of the Vilches' fights, people have been cut.
Yeah, 4 of the last 5 have ended in disqualification, no contest, technical draw. That is a worry, and remember here, a British cuts rule applies. They won't go to the scorecards. If Hatton is cut and can't carry on, he'll lose. So that is a danger. He hasn't cut too much in recent fights. Good left hand again from Vilches. Heads clashed on the inside. Vilches just felt his forehead as they came away. There's a left to the body. Vilches shoots a glance at the referee.
I think he was claiming that was low, but it didn't look low from here. Vilches is trying to drop the pace already. He doesn't want to fight at this pace. We know Hatton can do this for 12 rounds.
Well, Hatton will carry on, making it white hot. Gets him with a great left hook to the head there. Vilches takes that one. Remember, he was stopped in 4 by Shambe Mitchell, the former world champion. Hatton here looking to underline that he is one of the top men in the world, even if he can't get fights against the top men in the world for the moment.
Well, if he wanted to make that early impression, he's certainly done it. Good sharp start. Took a couple of shots on the way in, but a good start from Hatton.
He's imposed himself straight away on Vilches. Dug in some trademark body shots. Vilches has scored with a few little left hooks of his own in this round. Now that's Hatton's opening session.
Two with a pulse, 2 finishing on the job.
Trainer Billy Graham with Mick Williamson, Bobby Rimmer, and conditioner Kerry Kays, who controls the diet of Hatton. That's important because he does blow up in weight between fights.
Well, Vilches not too happy with the tempo in the first round. He wants to slow things down. He also wants to be coming forward. Hatton has tumbled that and kept him on the back foot throughout the first round. Excellent start.
second round. And Hatton might make a little point on the world scene if he does stop Vilches quicker than Chambé Mitchell did. Not that that should be necessarily his number one aim. He showed against Benteke that he can box pretty beautifully at times as well. He's not just a body punch blaster.
Right. Well, Vilches' body language suggests that he's felt the power in the first round. He's quite happy to back off. He's trying to use the ring. This is a fellow who likes to come forward, so I think he's been hurt already.
It's another right hand around the temple of Hatton.
Right.
Huge crowd in the MEN arena as Hatton unleashes and rips home the left hook to the head this time.
Right.
There's danger in his current predicament. Hatton, while he's waiting, the old line in the song about life's what happens while you're busy making other plans. Good shots to the body from Hatton again.
Well, he's certainly taken early control. Vilches throwing wild swings. Doesn't quite know how to cope with the pace that Ricky's setting.
And I think this will be a big factor when he does move in with the top men. This is one of the big things about Hatton. He fights ferociously from first bell to last every round. 3 minutes a round. You never get a let up. Look at him here, all over Vilches. He can't find any escape tunnels.
I think Hatton feels keep this fellow on his back foot and the job is half done, and that's how it's looking. There's no snap in Vilches' punches. He's not had a second to catch a breath yet.
Can he break the spirit of Vilches, who did shoot one or two glances at his corner, I noticed, in that opening round when Hatton landed right hand on the inside that time from Hatton. He's only been on the floor once himself. That was against Eamon McGee, but he was hurt even worse in the second of that fight and recovered.
Well, normally you'd be looking for Ricky to settle down, take his time, but we know he can box at this pace for 12 rounds, so get on with it. He's well in control at the moment.
Again, the body shot. Some like it hot, but not everybody. Will Vilches. Inside of the glove, a slap that time from Hatton with the left hand. Another right uppercut from Hatton, who's utterly dominant so far. Jab's good too, isn't it, Jim?
Everything he does is good. He took a couple of chances in the first round, took a couple of good left hooks, but he's taken really nothing this round, totally dominating. Vilches is trying to be cute, but that's not his game.
Well, during the break, Billy Graham, the trainer, telling Hatton, you'll get him, don't worry.
Yeah, but he's completely bullying. Hatton looks so much stronger than Vilches. We don't know what Vilches has to offer, because quite simply, Ricky Hatton hasn't allowed him even to get started. Totally dominant first couple of rounds.
Vilches tried to steal the belt off Ricky Hatton at the press conference on Thursday, but actually getting it off him in the ring is looking to be a much, much harder job. We had a feeling it would be. It's another hiding to nothing job, this, for Hatton. Just has to go about it professionally and hope the big one is next in October. Maybe Paul Spadafora, maybe Vivian Harris, the WBA champion. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Still the main danger for Hatton are heads and elbows, because this fellow is just trying to survive here, just keep out of the way of these attacks, and some of his moves are unorthodox.
Got the reputation of being something of a crazy man, Vilches, which is why he has the number 22 cut into his hairstyle. Apparently that number means El Loco in Argentina. There's Hatton here, looks to turn up the heat again in that corner. Body shots, two of them with the left hand and the right uppercut as well from Hatton.
But you can see the technique of Hatton up close. He's not allowing Vilches to get any decent punches off. He's pushing his body weight back, keeping his own elbows nice and tight. His work far superior.
Maybe just a bit more cooler and precise than earlier on in his career as well. This is a technician going to work heavy right hand to the head as Vilches is trapped in the corner. Comes back with a couple of left hands of his own, and not really getting through with them. Hatton picks that right uppercut, then left hook. It's a good right hand from Vilches, and left hook too, with his back to the ropes. His spirit has not been subdued yet.
Hatton taking just a little bit too long. If you're not going to get punches, let them go. Get out of there. He's staying too long without letting some punches go.
The danger for Hatton is during this big weight for the big fight, he goes off the boil and starts looking a bit flat. Not much sign of it here though. Whips in the right cross this time. That troubled Vilches, I fancy.
Yep, just a little sag on the ropes there from Vilches. Hatton so much the stronger.
He's a long way from home. There's always the question of how much of this he wants, Vilches. This time his head is knocked back twice by rapid-fire jabs. Keep the punches up. He's let a couple go in low, Vilches, maybe by accident, maybe by design, to try and do something to break Hatton's rhythm. Again low. He's going to get a point deducted if he's not careful here. I think it is deliberate, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's just sheer panic in Vilches. He hasn't a split second to get the punches off, so some of them are going astray. Yeah, more precise work from Hatton in this round. He's looking for the target. First couple of rounds he was just blazing away, making a point, which he's done and done well. But now he's looking at the target, he's taking his time, he's cut down the work rate slightly, looking for a bit more accuracy. But this is great stuff from Rikki Hаттton so far.
Vilches, who comes from the same area of Argentina, by the way, that produced Luis Firpo, who back in 1923 was involved in one of the wildest world heavyweight title fights ever against Jack Dempsey. 11 knockdowns in 3 minutes and 57 seconds.
Soon it'll be time to start stepping round.
Look at that, 20 wins inside 4 rounds for Hatton. Looks a bit older these days. He looks at least 16 now, doesn't he, Jim?
That's up right. See, he's finding the target, no problem. And you can see Vilches does not know what to do with this pace. He's never been comfortable from the first bell with the pace that Ricky's set.
He's trying to get on his bike a bit at the start of the round, Vilches, and use the jab. But he's going to have to be fast and very elusive to do that. And I don't think really that's part of his style. And Hatton's finding him ominously easy to hit. Ominous from Vilches' point of view, that is.
See, that is the key. Hatton is forcing Vilches to take tactics, to use tactics that he's not comfortable with. He does not like this. He doesn't like the pace, and the power now beginning to have effect.
And the head's banging together again on the inside. A little bit of damage developing around the right eye of Vilches. You can see why cuts happen in his fights. Rips in the body shot, then the uppercut. Great repertoire from Hatton, using the jab well tonight. How long before all this breaks down, the Argentine fighter?
See, again, you can see him looking round the side for the target before he lets the punches go. It's a hectic pace, but he's controlling what he's doing, Hatton.
Used the uppercut well tonight. It's a good body shot in there from Vilches, and a right hand as well. Still a bit easy to hit it sometimes if you were being picky. Hatton just dropped the glove, and Vilches made him pay for that. You wouldn't want to be doing that against a Costas you, would you? You're the world #1 at this weight, though he hasn't fought for a long time. It's a great buzzing division. That right eye's worse of Vilches. He dabs away at the blood. Might be starting to obscure the vision. Doesn't need that. Oh, rip snorter to the body again from Hatton. Looks troubled, Vilches, and they're going to take him back to the corner to wipe away the blood, I think. It's a respite he needs, Jim.
Yeah, well, he doesn't quite know what to do with Hatton. Hatton is on fire tonight. I think he wants this fella out of there as soon as he can do it. Maybe he's thinking about Shambay's Mitchell's job, I don't know.
Now, give Hatton credit, he's caught by the right hand there again. Vilches has got quite quick hands, hasn't he? But he's not a power hitter. His record suggests he's not. And Of those 41 wins, only 24 inside schedule, and a lot of them were early in his career.
But I think to be effective, Vilches has to be coming forward. Hatton has not allowed that so far.
Vilches is trying to raise the tempo and find a way into the fight, even up the rounds, because he's been under a lot of pressure from the word go. And there's another right uppercut from Hatton. He's used that shot well tonight.
Hatton still winning the round, but a little bit of success for Vilches, which he badly needs.
But it's only sporadic, and it was only for a while before normal services resumed by the hometown hero here. To work hard on that right eye of Vilches. It looks all right for the moment.
Well, take the power shots again coming from Hatton. A weary walk back to the corner there from Vilches. I think that the first signs he's maybe becoming just a little bit despondent here. Didn't realise this job was going to be as hard as it is.
Frank Warren, the promoter of Hatton, complaining about the low blows of Vilches. He hasn't stopped him as fast as Charvet Mitchell. This is round 5. Won't worry Hatton too much, that I think. Just a question of getting the job done. Oh, that's a low one from Hatton. He's giving him one back. That's really low and very hard. He'd have felt that. That surely can't be counted as a knockout. No, it's a timeout. It was a low blow, and I think that was Hatton saying, look, you keep hitting me low, you're going to get one back.
Well, it was a low blow, it was a beauty. That was bang on the spot. No question, that was a full-blooded shot. Can't argue about that one.
And that was worse than any Vilches has thrown.
Yep, I mean, I wouldn't suggest Ricky's not guilty of deliberate low punching, and everything's going his way, so I don't imagine for 1 second he wants this action broken. He was enjoying himself, he found his rhythm, so I'm sure that was purely accidental.
You don't think it was a case of the old fighter's mentality in there, that if you're going to get fouled, you foul back?
I really don't think so, because he was so much in control, he was enjoying himself. So I think it's just badly gone astray. I think maybe he intended Vilches to be maybe a couple of inches away from him when that punch landed. I don't think that's Rikki Hatton's style, so I reckon that was accidental.
Okay, he's got 5 minutes to recover if he wants it under the rules here. I was going to say, Hatton, for a great body puncher, very rarely has problems with low blows. Not as many problems as Barry McGuigan used to have, if you remember.
Remember it well. Yep, I'm sure Ricky would rather have just kept the action going there. Maybe the heads are coming together now. Talking about low blows as well. Ricky maybe just wants to settle down a little bit here now. This fella is nothing special, there's nothing cute about him. Ricky maybe just wants to settle down and start picking these punches a little bit more. I'd hate to see the heads coming together here.
Crowd getting a bit restless. I think the referee wants it cleaned up a bit. It's becoming a bit dirty, this fight. A few things going on. But you've got to admire Vilches. He's taken a lot, and he's just starting to come back with a few things of his own, trying to find his way into the fight. He hasn't really done it yet. Crowd stamping their feet all around the arena here. Some 15 to 20,000 of them in here.
Well, you have to say the time is right for Rikki Hatton to start facing the best in the division. I don't know that Rikki is going to get a lot better than this. I think he's really at the peak of his powers at the moment.
Which is important, that they strike while the iron's hot with him. Even if it means he does have a defeat at the top world level, he certainly deserved the opportunity to try.
I mean, last time out, Peterson lasted a lot longer than we imagined he would have done. So maybe Ricky's punches are just not landing cleanly on target. He's catching shoulders and elbows, the top of the head. He just needs to find that chin. Well, as I said, more of a stumble.
Good jab, good stiff jab. Vilches might have lost his balance, but seemed a bit troubled by it.
I think there's water over in the corner, and I would imagine that's the problem. We've both slipped here.
Yeah. Vilches not showing any inclination to get out of there and trying to fight with his back to the ropes. And again, the heads bang together. Hatton's got to be careful because he's cut seriously in the past and has needed some big work with a plastic surgeon. Oh, great right uppercut, Hatton. Super shot.
Well, I think Vilches deserves some credit because he's been under pressure from the opening bell. No signs he's losing heart yet, but things really going against him.
Not feeling too good.
Welcome back to the Amiens Arena in the city centre here in Manchester. Jam-packed, 41% success rate for Hatton off 287 thrown. It's great, that.
Yep, and that's the reason every round is going to Hatton. That was a beautiful uppercut there against the ropes.
Good spirit, though, from Vilches. The three most significant fights that Hatton has had have all gone to points. Ben Tacky, Vince Phillips, Eamon McGee. And maybe up at the top world level, he's not going to be a big concussive hitter, but will wear people down, and his work rate will win fights for him.
Well, I would imagine that Vilches' corner have been telling him that nobody can fight at this pace for 12 rounds. If that's the case, he's in for an unpleasant surprise because we've seen Hatton do it so often.
Good right hand from Hatton. Is he just getting a little frustrated? He might have thought that Vilches would have folded by now under this kind of heat, but he hasn't so far.
See, Vilches is usually managing just to keep the chin out of harm's way. He's partly blocking shots, he's taking them on the forehead. Hatton just not finding the chin.
Just not quite looking as sharp as he did early on, Hatton, and misses with 2 or 3 that time.
You have to say, Vilches not a bad pro. He's got a decent jab. Hatton has taken it away from him for much of the fight so far. But it's a good, sharp-looking jab.
Well, his record suggests he's a decent pro. He does hold a win over the highly regarded Omar Weiss, also of Argentina. That was a pretty close one against an awkward opponent, but a useful win nonetheless. And he's been an Argentine champion, a South American champion, that sort of thing, without gate-crashing the top world level. Again, the right hand into the head from Hatton. His work rate has just dropped off a little, I think.
Well, I think that's to be expected, but he's being a little bit more precise. He's just shaking his head there. I think he's annoyed that he can't pin this fellow down. I mean, we were saying earlier that he didn't have a great defence, but his evasive boxing's not bad, Vilches. You can see the experience there.
Good body shot from Hatton. Not the first time we've said that in his career, but he is involved in the big picture in a bit of tightrope walking at this stage of his career, this frustrating time while he waits to get the men that matter into the ring with him. Long way ahead in this fight already, winning everything.
And defence is still good, thankfully. Vilches is just finding that little split second now to get some punches of his own off, so certainly the pace has dropped slightly.
Then he tries to find the uppercut, but Vilches fiddling his way through things and coming back with the odd thing himself.
Come up, Ricky.
Just gone a bit flat here for me, Hatton.
I think the big problem is the fact that Vilches is just surviving now. He's not taking any chances himself, so Hatton finding it difficult to get to the target.
Adam Smith has some guests for us to meet at ringside.
And yeah, Johnny, he's winning the rounds, Ricky Hatton. Is he impressing? Is he starting to look a bit flat?
He's doing what Ricky does. He started off really well. He kept the pressure on him, but he's starting to get caught by his big looping right hands over the top. He may be a little too eager to get Vilches out of the way.
Vilches has been tough in some of the old tricks, but a low blow from Hatton too.
The bad referee, in the first 3 rounds he caught Hatton with so many low blows. Hatton did it back to him, of course, but I think that's affected Hatton's concentration. He's looked a little bit flat, as you say, the last 2 rounds. Been caught with more shots. The pace has dropped too. I hope he's not tiring.
Do you think he'll wear him down now in the later rounds, Hatton?
Oh, definitely. Vilches' desire started to disappear. Now he's surviving, he's messing him around. He'll throw the odd crazy shot out to hopefully catch Ricky, but Ricky's doing what Ricky has to do, walk straight through him.
Showed some heart though, hasn't he, Vilches? Ian?
He certainly has, Adam. Thank you very much indeed. It would be inhuman, really, if Hatton wasn't affected by all the stuff that's been going on in the build-up to this fight, this war of words we've had in the paper between him and Frank Warren, his promoter. Just a sign of his frustration that he went public, saying, I want the big fights and I expect them to be delivered now.
You know, I'm just thinking, Ricky's winning all the rounds by a mile, and we're sitting here asking ourselves, is he becoming a little bit flat?
Yeah.
If this is Ricky Hatton flat, then I wouldn't mind being flat myself. He's still in total control, still pouring the punches, maybe just been a bit more precise than he was earlier. He's still setting the pace.
To some extent, he's a victim of how excellent he's been through his career. We expect so many fireworks from him.
I'd maybe like to see him step back a little bit. He's just a little bit close to Vilches at the moment. Maybe step back, give himself some room to get leverage in for the punches.
Vilches is talking to him on the inside there. Don't know what he's saying because he doesn't speak English. Is he doing the old Muhammad Ali? He told me he was going to do rope-a-dope for this fight. I think he was almost trying to do it there. Does he say, is that all you got? You remember how Ali was supposed to have said that to Foreman?
Well, I think he realises this is a fight he's not going to win, so the only pleasure he's going to get is frustrating and annoying Ricky Hatton. That's what he's trying to do now, try and maybe draw him into a silly mistake. But I think Ricky's picked up too much experience to fall for that one.
I thought he was joking when he said he was going to try those tactics of the famous rumble in the jungle, but for a few seconds there, that's exactly what he was doing. Hanging around on the ropes, covering up, and he catches Hatton with a good left hook on the way in there. I think this is becoming a bit frustrating for Hatton, this one. I think he just wants it out of the way.
See, Vilches is a real good pro. He knows all the defensive tricks. It's so difficult to catch him cleanly on the chin. And it looks as though he can take them all night long in the head. He's the one finding the target at the moment, his clean shots. Ricky's still well outworking him to be winning the round, but his own defence is maybe a little bit leaky a couple of times here.
Yeah, I think this is difficult mentally. That right hand seemed to move Vilches, because win, and everybody expects it, lose in some way, and everybody says, I told you so, he was overhyped and all that kind of thing, which is very unfair, of course, but that's where he is, isn't he, in the big picture?
Yeah, that is the big problem. But I'm thinking here, there are no signs that he's really broken Vilches' heart yet.
Yeah, I didn't think it would go this long, I must say, looking at the early rounds.
Well, the fact that Vilches is a real good pro, and he's not taking the full-blooded shots on the chin. He's blocking them, he's slipping them, taking them in the head. But Ricky must not become frustrated. Everything's going well, no problems, don't cause any.
Quite the accuracy there in that Hatton attack.
See, the problem is when the other fellow's just looking to survive, it's difficult to look good, but for me, Hatton is managing it.
And that was the round, by the way, that Vilches said he was going to win in. No sign of it.
Okay, you can't punch yourself out, you know what I'm saying? You've won every single round big, you know what I mean? You don't have to be honest to win all the time, you know what I mean? Sometimes through the rest we need to do I know you don't, but you got to keep it. You've won every round, I know that. We knew this, yeah? But now you've got to go through it, yeah?
What was he saying there in the corner?
He said, I'm not feeling too great. He said, I wonder if there's been some sort of problem. He's coughing, he's trying to bring some phlegm up there. I wonder maybe if he's been suffering from a head cold. The good news is he's won every one of the 7 rounds, so don't drop the pace.
Well, they have had to cut a few corners, as I was saying earlier. He likes 10 weeks to prepare. He's only had 5. Billy Graham, the trainer, was saying, I'm never ever going to do this again. So, I don't know, there's always a few red lights flashing when you hear that kind of thing. I mean, he may not pay for it tonight.
Well, what you don't want to do, if you think maybe you're struggling, you're not feeling at your best, and this fight might go the distance, don't drop the pace now. Get another couple of rounds in the bank so the points can't turn against you. Because if he drops the pace now, thinking about the last couple of rounds, then he'll let this fellow back into the fight, and he'll only exaggerate his problems. So he wants another couple of rounds in the bank. Then if he's not at his best, then just coast the rest of the way.
So you've heard that Hatton isn't feeling that good in there. Overheard in the corner between the rounds. Now, I wonder why that would be. I'm not sure the concentration is quite there in the way it's been in some of his previous fights. That's a nice jab, though. As Jim says, if he can do this, win every round, even when he's not quite at his best, well, that's probably a very good sign.
Well, this is good stuff. This is good controlled boxing from Hatton. He's picking the shots at long range. He's standing off that little bit further, which I was hoping he would do in the previous round, giving himself room to punch.
That looked low again from Vilches. Now, is he going to get a point deducted? It's about time, isn't it?
Well, the last warning looked like a final warning to me, so...
Obviously a very tolerant referee, because he's got away with quite a few of those tonight, as Carlos Wilfredo Vilches from Santa Rosa La Papa in Argentina. This is better from Hatton, just starting to lift it again and find the snap in the body shots, which has just disappeared over the last couple of rounds.
Well, that's also the good plan. If you're not at your best end, nice and steady the first minute and a half, put the pedal down the last minute, give him something to remember when you send him back to his corner.
See, we don't know how much he's suffering in there, do we, at the moment? He might be feeling pretty rotten, but still having to go to work.
I think maybe he knows he's not firing in all cylinders, but honestly, if I hadn't heard them say that, I wouldn't have spotted any problem, because everything is still under control. He's still looking good.
Good left hook. Good shot at the end of that rally. More blood from the eye of Vilches. He's had a problem with the right eye now for a few rounds. Again, their heads gouging together on the inside. Hatton's eyes and face have stood up well in recent fights after some very bad problems early in his career, notably against Vince Phillips and Jonathan Thaxton in the British title fight. This is it from Hatton. Up he goes. Listen to the crowd respond to that. He can feed off that, I think, Hatton. He needs that crowd tonight to be right up there with him and lifting him a bit. Now, it's gone a bit quiet, in all honesty.
I thought he picked the punches beautifully in that round. It wasn't the same as all the previous rounds, but he picked them beautifully.
Hasn't lost a round yet, I think, Hatton. Good durability, though, and spirit from Vilches.
Yep, full credit to him. He's earning his money.
Low blow coming up, Jim.
Yeah, well, I thought maybe it was time a point was deducted there. I know the points, we're not too worried about points. Ricky Hatton's won every round, but I think he should have been punished for that.
Joe Cortez would have deducted one by now. No warning man he is, apparently.
Yeah, exactly, that's what happened last week. But I like the way Ricky was picking the punches. See, not getting involved too much, just standing off that little, but giving himself room to punch, which you have to do with guys like this. If you get too close, it's impossible to pin them down. That wasn't the hottest round of the fight, but I was impressed with Ricky Hatton there. We saw something different.
Round 9, and a right hand just unsettles Vilches right at the start of the round from Hatton. He suddenly looks as if he wants to get a bit more serious again. There's those uppercuts. But Vilches just won't go away. He's got a lot of pride about him. One of those fighters who seems to just relish the occasion. You do find these with this the Latin fighters, and there's a good tradition of Argentine fighters at light welterweight. Remember people like Juan Martin Poggi, Nicolino Loccia, and Ubaldo Sacco, who are all champions in the modern era at light welterweight. Vilches is not in their league, it has to be said.
He still seems to have a fair amount still left in the tank. Vilches, considering he's been under extreme pressure all the way through, certainly in good shape. As I said, he's boxed twice already this year and had plenty of notice for this one.
Vilches comes back with a body shot of his own, but he's been outworked the whole way by Hatton. But we make the point again, it really is time now to step him up with the big boys in this division. The Zeus, the Charvet Mitchells, Arturo Gatti, not Floyd Mayweather perhaps at the moment because he's a bit of a special case. Super talent, but people, Viv Harris, those guys.
Yeah, definitely, because as I said earlier, I think we're seeing the best of Hatton at the moment. and I think it would bring more out of him against a fighter who was making it competitive. This guy's a nightmare because he knows he's winning nothing, he's just making it awkward for Hatton. More competitive fight, Ricki would get his punches on better.
Well, it's significant to me that, given the biggest test of his career against Ben Taki, he produced easily his best performance.
That's right, he was posed a few problems tonight. Also against Eamon McGee, he posed a couple of problems. I think the trouble for Ricki, he's not had enough of those fights, and sometimes you can get into bad habits. You develop bad habits that you can't shake when you're into the big boys, but no sign of that, thankfully.
Just working away steadily. Hatton, has he settled maybe for winning this on points if he has to?
Well, there were no signs that he's about to force a stoppage. He's landed some good shots, hasn't really shaken this fellow up. So as we said earlier, the result here is the main thing.
Crowd remain quiet. They've grown so used to seeing Hatton take people out in about 4 rounds, but they do have to understand that the better fighters will take him longer distances. Hatton is winning every round. Let's join Adam Smith again.
Yeah, absolutely, winning every round, but we thought it would be over a long time ago, didn't we?
It looks to me as though he put everything into beating Charlemagne Mitchell's 4-round stoppage of this guy, you know, and when it didn't happen on the low blows, he got a bit despondent and lost concentration. He looks to be tiring, whether that's a mental thing, we don't know, or a physical thing. You know, it's unlike Ricki Hatton to tire this badly.
And he said in the corner he doesn't feel great. Why?
Maybe because he's had to squeeze it into 5 weeks preparation for this fight. And remember, he's getting hit with a lot of low shots. And, you know, he'd be better off wearing 2 cups or something like that, because that sort of thing, it breaks your concentration, it breaks your focus, it breaks what you want to try and do.
Is he settling for the points win, do you believe? He just wants to get this out of the way?
I think he'd love to stop him in this fight, but I think it could be a points victory, yes.
Might have to settle for that, Ian.
Yeah, starts to look that way, doesn't it? Because he's had plenty go the full distance lately.
Well, I've got to say, and I'm still pretty impressed with the work that Ricki's doing tonight. This guy is exceptionally tough, and Ricki has dominated him from start to finish.
10th round. But he was floored 3 times by Charlemagne Mitchell and stopped in 4. Right hand again gets in from Hatton. I don't know, I disagree with you a little bit, Jim. I think he has looked a bit flat. I think everything in the build-up to this fight, one thing and another, has just reflected a bit in the performance.
I'll grant you that the snap is not in the punches as the fight's progressed. But technique-wise, he hasn't been doing anything silly. He hasn't become frustrated. He's stuck with the job. And he's obviously not at his best physically. When have you ever heard Ricki Hatton complaining in a corner? I don't think I've ever heard that.
He is a thoroughgoing, rounded pro now, Hatton. This is round 10. It was 3 rounds ago. He said in the corner that he didn't feel that great, so he just might be fighting through the pain or discomfort of whatever it is. The post-fight interview might be interesting in revealing here. But the impression is that this has been a frustrating, hard night's work for him, but nonetheless, he has been absolutely dominant.
I think as far as the crowd are concerned, I think every round it's a little bit repetitious. There's been no drama in the fight. We haven't seen any knockdowns. I think that's what's missing as far as the crowd's concerned. I think they've even settled down to they're going to be seeing this all the way to the end.
Good defence from Vilches, just parrying blows with his gloves over in that corner. They'll be very happy with the way his face is held up in this kind of fight. Now there goes Hatton with the trademark shots, the old rib crunches with the left hand. But I think you'd see something much, much more electric from him faced with one of the top guys in the world. And let's hope it is October. It has to be a big one next, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Ricki himself is getting a little bit fed up. I think the criticism that he's having to endure is stinging him a little bit. He wants to be remembered as a real world champion, so they have to move him on.
Sticking his head in a bit, Hatton in there. If he's prepared to rough it up with Vilches, if the Argentine wants it that way. Just keep his eyes away from trouble, though. Doesn't want to be picking up a cut, which could mean a lengthy absence. Good. Hooks again to the body, but Vilches will not crumble. Again a low blow. There's no good keep telling him. He's got to deduct a point.
Yeah, there it goes.
No. Did he? Well, okay.
No, I think that was just a nod to his corner. I think he just nodded to the corner. Another final warning was that.
Wasn't totally clear whether he deducted a point or not. I don't think he did, actually. But we'll try and check that. If he did, he didn't make it very clear.
I think he just nodded to Vilches' corner, but not good refereeing, I'm afraid.
Don't listen. Don't start thinking like that. That's this. You've got 6 minutes and you just fucking keep your head on. Yeah? You knew what it's going to be. Now you're a mile in front. Only something stupid going to make you fucking lose this fight. And if you get despondent, you'll get fucking lazy and you'll get nailed. Yeah?
You see, he is frustrated. There's something wrong in that corner tonight. They're worried a bit, you know.
There's the low blow again, Ian. Yep, that will deserve a point deduction. But there's definitely something wrong with Rikki Hаттton. When do you ever hear him complaining? He's feeling sorry for himself in there.
This is all a bit of a worry, isn't it? You've never seen any of this before.
Well, I wonder maybe. I mean, the pace he set a pace as though this is a man at the top of his game. Maybe he doesn't have the condition to back up the pace that he's setting.
Good right hand. One other point I would make is that Hаттton has made a bit of a habit, and a lot of people have told him about this, of blowing up his weight much too much between fights. And I know he had to lose a lot quickly before they could get on with the training here. And I reckon he'd do well to read the Bernard Hopkins mantra, the long-reigning world middleweight champion, about how to stay in top condition. He can't keep doing that. It's going to cost him one day.
Yeah, we saw him a few weeks ago working in his brother Matthew's corner, and he certainly looked well over the 10-stone limit, well over it, maybe a stone and a half over it.
Well,
so maybe that is the problem.
Yeah, maybe it's the few chickens coming home to roost here. Maybe he'll get away with it here, though. He's long way in points. Vilches needs a knockout, in fact, to win. It's that one-sided. But the story really here has been what has been going on in that Hаттton corner. Billy Graham's a bit worried and had to give a pep talk to Hаттton for the very first time, I think, in his career. I've never heard Billy Graham have to talk to Rikki Hаттton like that.
You know, I think the alarming thing, Ian, the corner didn't seem too surprised when they heard the complaints. It's as though maybe they were halfway expecting this not to be his best performance. Maybe they really feel he's not had enough time to get himself into the proper shape. I don't know.
Well, it can't be allowed to happen again, this kind of rush preparation. I don't think Hаттton ever wanted to fight this month at all. His hands had blown up and after the last fight and were very swollen. I think he's going through the motions. Another lowish one, I think, on the inside there, and Hаттton winced. He just wants this over now. They want to get out of there with a W against the name.
Well, he's showing another necessary quality, gritting his teeth and getting on with things when he's not feeling at his best. Still dominating.
This is the hardest night he's had since Eamon McGee when he was down. Now here comes the point deduction this time, I think, yeah. Is it going to be?
No. Yeah, he said 1 point.
He said 1 point.
He did say 1 point, but he didn't go around the three judges, which are supposed to do to make it clear. So maybe he took the point before as well.
Well, it's pathetic refereeing, frankly. He's got to show the whole crowd and the judges that he's deducted a point, otherwise they don't know. It's no good just mouthing it, is it? I'm sorry to get on my high horse about that, Jim.
No, it's a fair comment. I mean, the judges, you have to make it clear to the judges, even if they don't make it clear to us.
Apologies for the rant, but you know what I mean. Hаттton did have a problem early in his career too with a guy called Quiroz in America when he could hardly see, he said, and he was getting hurt. And he won the fight, came out to win the fight, but he said that was the worst crisis he ever had. I think tonight it's not been exactly a crisis, but I think a lot's wrong with him. He doesn't feel right in there, and he's having to just somehow tough this out.
See, when you're not in the best of shape and you start forcing the pace, and you can start feeling a kind of sickness in your stomach. I don't know if that's what's wrong. I saw he was trying to bring some phlegm up in between a couple of the early rounds, but you can see, unbelievable.
Nearly 3 times as many punches landed by Rikki Hаттton. There's only 3 minutes to go. It's a despondent Rikki Hаттton. I think he's just fed up with the whole situation at the moment.
Exactly. He just wants out of there. Here we'll see the point deducted. You see him saying 1 point.
Yeah, but it's not apparently. We just checked with the WBU. They say no point has been deducted at all. Well, look, he's saying, is he saying I'm going to deduct a point in a minute? Or
yet another final warning? I don't believe it.
Wow. It's over now. Come on, it's smart. Come on, it's safe.
Yeah, well, not a hard fight to score this one, is it?
No. That's how everybody's got it, of course. Last round, Hatton tucked his gloves, but he's got a troubled look about him. Let's keep it clean. Says less than impressive referee Darryl Ribbing. Quite a rough fight as well, heads banging together, a few low blows thrown in. But I don't know, they'll worry a bit. They'll look at this fight. Can you just write it all off as a rush preparation, maybe lost weight too quickly, the fact that he's in a kind of no man's land, or is he just going off the boil a bit in his career at this point?
Yeah, well, maybe that too. Maybe the fact that he really does need a challenge. I mean, it must be frustrating giving the game everything you've got, but you don't receive the praise because of the standard of most of the opposition. Maybe he's becoming frustrated. The time is right to start moving him on to some of the big matches.
I think the danger for Frank Warren, and Warren appreciates how difficult it is to make these big fights. It's not easy. Let nobody pretend it is. But the danger for Frank Warren is that if he doesn't deliver those fights, Ricky Hatton might go to somebody who will.
Yeah, well, it seems that Ricky himself is really annoyed. He wants the big fights. They've been talking now for at least 18 months about the big fights, but they're not happening.
It's another final warning, Jim.
He's threatening to disqualify him. He's not taking points, Ian. He's threatening to disqualify him. I think he's telling him one more and he's out of there. I think that's what he's saying.
Well, he's not applying the rules correctly, is he?
This is nonsense. This is terrible refereeing.
He should have had a couple of points deducted by now. Better from Hatton, lifts the crowd again and holding on the inside. And Hatton's pretty fed up with Vilchez's tactics on the inside as it gets dirty, and all the frustration is coming to the surface, and that has been the story of this fight for Hatton. This is something different. People have been used to fireworks. I tell you what, he's lucky in a way tonight that he's not in with somebody a bit more dangerous who might have made him pay a much heavier price.
Yeah, someone who can back at him, but I mean, I thought in the first 6 rounds he looked superb. Okay, maybe he's off the boil a little bit in the second half of the fight. His punches don't have the snap we expect to see. But this guy is amazingly tough.
You couldn't see Vilches lasting 12 rounds in those first 3 or 4 when Hatton started sharp. That's not a knockdown, that's just a slip. This tough Argentinian who's tired now, but he's taken everything Hatton has to offer. I have to say this hasn't been one of Hatton's great nights. There's no way of disguising it, and of course we've been among his best fans. That's better, that's more what we've been used to seeing.
Yeah, well, when Ricky's judged by his own standards, obviously some questions are going to be asked about tonight. Certainly not his best, but a complete shutout, not bad for a bad night, if you like.
I don't think the concentration's been there either. Distracted look about Hatton. It is all over. It will go to the scorecards. It's a formality of a decision. Hatton will take his record to 36-0. There are 1 or 2 boos around the arena. What on earth is that about?
I think they're booing the Argentina. I think he's going around raising his arms in the air. It's not Ricky that they're booing. I think they're quite happy that the hero has won. But this fella's inciting the crowd now. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's probably justified then, because there's no way Vilches has won the fight. That is quite beyond dispute.
I think he's probably saying to the crowd, I've gone the distance, okay, how do you like that? I think that's what he's doing.
Well, as you said, if he can be that much off the boil as he was in the last 2/3, I'd say, of the fight, and still win this big, that's not an altogether bad sign. But there's an audition for a fight with somebody like Spadafora, who's never lost in 38 fights, maybe next, or somebody like Vivian Harris. Maybe a little bit worrying. Not the performance you'd want in the one before the big one.
But I think he'll definitely do the job properly. I think that the fact that maybe if he's pulled the weight down too drastically, that would account for that little bit of strength missing.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the scorecards. Judge Carl Rogers scores the contest 119 to 108. Judge Reg Thompson scores the contest 120 to 107. And Judge Tony Walker scores the contest 119 to 108. For the winner by unanimous decision,